Imagine opening with a rapid, dramatic montage. Donald Trump standing at the top of the escalator in 2015, cutting ribbons on skyscrapers in the 1980s, firing contestants on The Apprentice, walking through cheering crowds at rallies, raising his hand on Inauguration Day, facing courtrooms, and returning to the political stage. Over this fast-paced sequence, the narration comes in with a sharp, gripping tone. He is one of the most influential, controversial, and unforgettable figures in modern American history. A real estate heir who built an empire, a television star who mastered the art of attention, and a political outsider who shocked the world. Loved by millions, criticized by many, and impossible to ignore, Donald Trump's story is a journey of ambition, power, reinvention, and conflict. But how did one man dominate business, media, and eventually the presidency? And what forces shaped the rise of a figure whose impact will be debated for decades? This hook sets the emotional tone fast, dramatic, and slightly provocative, inviting the viewer into a story that feels larger than life. As the music softens and the montage slows, the introduction begins with a steady documentary-style narration that places viewers inside the world where the story starts. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York, into a family already defined by money, drive, and competition. His father, Fred Trump, was a prominent real estate developer who instilled in his children a relentless focus on success and expansion. Growing up in a world where deals were made over dinner tables and ambition was part of everyday life, Trump learned early how power operated and how confidence could be used as currency. That upbringing would shape everything he did, from the way he built his business to the way he later spoke to millions on camera. Then, gradually, the introduction frames the purpose of the video. This story isn't just about a businessman or a president. It's about a man who understood the power of image, the value of controversy, and the impact of never backing down. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll explore Trump's rise from Queens to Manhattan's skyline, from reality TV fame to the highest office in the United States, and from presidency to an era-defining figure whose legacy continues to evolve. Whether you admire him, question him, or simply want to understand how he became who he is, this is the story behind the name that changed American politics. Chapter 1. Early Life and Family Background. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York, into a world already shaped by ambition and competition. His father, Fred Trump, was a highly successful real estate developer who built middle-class housing throughout New York's outer boroughs. From an early age, Donald was exposed to the language of deals, construction, and profit. The Trump household was strict, disciplined, and centered around achievement qualities Fred believed were essential for surviving and thriving in business. Donald's mother, Mary Ann, brought warmth and a sense of elegance to the home, yet the family dynamic remained firmly focused on winning. As a child, Donald was energetic, assertive, and often rebellious, traits that stood out even among his siblings. His parents sent him to the New York Military Academy as a teenager, hoping to channel his intensity into structure. There, Trump developed a competitive drive and a desire to stand out, traits that would later propel him into fame. These formative years cultivated his lifelong belief in projecting strength, embracing conflict when necessary, and always thinking on a grand scale. Long before skyscrapers or television cameras entered the picture, Donald Trump was being molded into someone determined not just to succeed, but to dominate. Education and entry into real estate. After graduating from the New York Military Academy, Trump attended Fordham University before transferring to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, one of the most respected business programs in the country. He studied finance, but more importantly, he absorbed the idea that immense wealth and power were not just goals, they were expectations. Wharton introduced him to economic theory, real-world case studies, and the prestige of being associated with high-level business circles. When he graduated in 1968, he returned immediately to work for his father's company, then known simply as the Trump Management Corporation. While Fred Trump specialized in modest, dependable housing, Donald wanted something bigger, something glamorous. He saw Manhattan not as a distant dream, but as a foundation for transforming the Trump name into a symbol. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Trump began handling projects, learning how to negotiate, deal with contractors, and navigate the legal and political hurdles of New York real estate. His early exposure to his father's success gave him confidence, but his ambition pushed him far beyond the world Fred built. Donald wasn't content with quiet prosperity. He wanted to reshape skylines, brand cities with his name, and step into the spotlight. This was the beginning of his divergence from his father's path. Chapter 3. Building the Trump Empire. Trump's major breakthrough came with the transformation of the Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Station. At a time when New York City faced economic decline, Trump saw the abandoned hotel as a golden opportunity. Using aggressive negotiations and government incentives, he secured a partnership with Hyatt to renovate the building, launching the now famous Grand Hyatt Hotel. Its success signaled his arrival as a serious figure in Manhattan real estate. Next came Trump Tower, which would become not only a luxury skyscraper, but a monument to the Trump brand. Gleaming in black glass with a cascading waterfall inside, Trump Tower symbolized wealth, ambition, and spectacle, all qualities he embraced fully. Trump expanded into casinos in Atlantic City, golf courses around the world, and high-profile residential projects bearing his name. His style was bold and unapologetically self-promotional. He often described his properties as the biggest, the best, or the most luxurious, using hyperbole as a marketing tool. This era also brought financial turbulence, including multiple business bankruptcies. Yet Trump always framed these setbacks as strategic moves, stepping stones rather than failures. Through risk, relentless publicity, and an eye for powerful visuals, Donald Trump turned himself from a real estate developer into a public figure recognized far beyond New York. Chapter 4. Celebrity and Media Persona. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Trump had become more than a businessman, he was a celebrity. He appeared on magazine covers, talk shows, movies, and commercials, cultivating an image of wealth, confidence, and swagger. But his greatest leap into mainstream fame came in 2004 with the debut of The Apprentice. As host of the reality show, Trump played the role of the ultimate businessman, decisive, commanding, and brutally honest. The show's catchphrase, "You're fired," became iconic, and Trump's public persona grew stronger than ever. Millions tuned in weekly to watch him judge contestants competing for a job in his organization. This exposure introduced Trump to a new audience who admired his bluntness and saw him as a symbol of success. Beyond entertainment, Trump used television as a platform to shape his public identity. He portrayed himself as someone who knew how to win, closing deals and building empires with unshakable confidence. The show also helped him reinforce the idea that he was a straight-talking outsider who didn't play by traditional rules, an image that would later define his political movement. By the time The Apprentice reached its peak, Trump had mastered the art of self-branding like few others, paving the way for his next and biggest stage.